So what we've got here, this is, you'll remember when I put this air compressor in, I reused the pressure regulator and everything, and water filter off of my Craftsman 2-stage air compressor, but I hadn't used that air compressor in probably a year and a half. It had it's oilless, and the piston rings on it had just were shot, and I had replaced them once before, and so I just kind of got fed up with it. Hooked up my single stage oiled belt driven compressor up, and just used that until I bought this. And so I pulled my regulator and everything off of that Craftsman compressor, but like I said, I hadn't used it in a year and a half or so, and I've had issues with this regulator since then. And I've taken it apart, I've cleaned it, I've done all that kind of stuff, and I cannot get it to work correctly. I had it working, I took it apart, oiled it, and got it to work for a while. Then it would just peg out. It's like it's sticking, and I don't know, but it's leaking right now. It's not regulating. I'm just fed up with messing with it. So we're gonna replace it. So what I bought as a replacement, I actually bought this at Walmart. It's a Amflow. What the problem I was having, and it's hard to find online, is the max inlet pressure, because this thing will build up 175 psi of pressure. I think I've got it set to like 165 or something, because it's a 2-stage. And so it'll build up a lot of pressure, and most of the ones you see, they were saying max pressure like 150, and I don't know if they were talking, what you couldn't find out online, if that was the max what they'll regulate, you know, if you can regulate 150, or if that's the max input. They did not specify that, so wasn't real sure. So I didn't want to buy one and it not be the right pressure. But this other one, the one I've got on it, is a max input of 250 as well. So maybe that's what they all are. But this one was $20 at Walmart. It was like $19.99 or something. So it's made in China. I guess we'll see if it holds up, but I would say it's got to be better than what I'm using right now, considering this one leaks like crazy and it won't even regulate right now. So I'll show you what it does. So it is leaking. Well, right now it's leaking out the bottom of it. Leaking at the bottom? Where's this? Yeah, it's leaking. I guess the plug in the, oh no, it's right here. This side is leaking over here. It's got an O-ring over here. I replaced it once. It's leaking. It's a plastic cap. The plastic's a little warped. But yeah, it's blowing air out this plastic cap right here. Leaking all around that cap. And it's not regulating pressure. So I've got I've got 120 or 125 in the tank itself. Once it builds up more pressure, it starts leaking out here, and it will not regulate pressure down. It'll do that once it builds up more pressure, like it's trying to regulate it down, but it doesn't ever stop. So this is what it should do. It should bleed out pressure here. Like if you quickly gave it a dose of air and it got past its regulated pressure, it would bleed off pressure here until it got to the right pressure. The problem is it never stops. It keeps bleeding off pressure. So you turn it in and it'll stop it from doing that, but it's not regulating the pressure. It just stays whatever is in the tank. So I'm not sure what's wrong with it. I did not put it back together incorrectly. This is how it was acting before. It's slightly better than it was before. It doesn't bleed off as much pressure. It was really leaking before, and now it's got a leak over here as well. I took this part off as well because the O-ring was leaking on this side. It's done. So we're going to bleed off pressure. That's my water filter. And then we're going to change this thing out. So I think can't get a pipe wrench in here, so we're going to do vice grips. We're going to just take it off bit by bit, take it apart bit by bit. We'll just put some Teflon on it. Get that part of it off. Let's see if we can just turn this out. Oh, it's turning there. So we need to hold that. Turn this off. So we got it apart. Let me go get that Teflon. We'll put on the fittings. Okay, so went ahead and I let the compressor was low on air, so I went ahead because it had leaked off. So I went ahead and filled it up so that way we can get our pressure regulated just right. While I was waiting for it to fill, I went ahead and threw some Teflon paste on the gauge right there, threaded it in, and it came with a plug, so it already had the thread sealer on it. So put that plug in, and of course put some Teflon on there and on our other piece over there. So we've got an inlet and an outlet. We're going to put the inlet right here, of course. I'm just going to thread this on. I should probably get some big channel locks. A little easier to get at over here. Get one more round out of it. Looks good to me. So let's thread this on. And what we'll need to do here is change this to here. We need to, let's see, I need to hold it be good. All right, we'll turn our air on. It's not letting any pressure in. Which way do we turn? Need to use y'all's light. I don't know where y'all cut off, or if y'all weren't recording, but turned it this way to increase pressure and this way to decrease. It's bleeding off. Then we want to come back up to the pressure we want. I'm going to set it on 110 starting off, and then I can check, see what pressure it's at right before the compressor kicks back on. What I want to make sure is that it does maintain a steady pressure. I think I've got the compressor where it kicks back on like at 130 or something. I just want to make sure we're still keeping the same pressure there. So looked at this one's nice and smooth adjusting. I like it. This other one was really hard to turn and kind of jumpy. This one is very old, and it's actually an Amflow as well. It's a little bit different design. This one's different design, but they're both the same brand. I've had that one forever. And what it was is when I bought that Sears compressor, I bought a new Craftsman pressure regulator with it and put that on it. And after I did all that, later I found a pressure regulator here in the shop. It was this Amflow one, new in the package, you know, definitely old. I don't know how old it was, but definitely an old one. And when the Sears one failed, I put that Amflow on it, and it's been on there for quite a while. But yeah, it eventually looks like it has failed, and we've got the new Amflow on there, and we are good to go. So anyway, hopefully this one serves us well. I rarely adjust this thing. I leave it like it is. 20 bucks. Hopefully it holds up and gives us some good service. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below, hit the like button, and subscribe for more.